What's good, everyone? This your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room. And this is where we at now. So you clearly see the title of the broadcast and also see that brother Anton Daniels is in the broadcast room. Listen, look. So he has a young lady here that is going to explain how she caught HIV. And I didn't dive too deep, but I watched it just enough to see what was going on. And we're gonna let her speak, and we're gonna also let Anton cook like usual. So let's dive off into this. Quarters, nickels, and dimes.
I figured I'd hop on here and share a quick story about how I contracted HIV. So I'm gonna start like at the beginning. So basically, um, I dropped out of school at it was either 16 or 17. I moved away from home and I moved to the nearest big city. Okay, once I moved to the nearest big city, I ended up getting into prostitution. So I did get into prostitution, but that is not how I contracted HIV. So basically, once I moved to the big city, I met a group of people um, who became my friends. And one of the guys that I was friends with, me and him had a one night stand. And that's how I contracted HIV. He actually had AIDS, and I contracted HIV from him. He was already sick. I will say,
can you be a travel advisor without quitting your 9 to
Jesus.
we were at his house because we were at his mom's house. His mom came in the room in the morning and she was yelling something, but she was speaking in Creole. So I didn't know what she was saying, but she was yelling at him about something, probably for having me there, I'm assuming. And then I do remember seeing him take some medication. Of course, I didn't think anything about it. I was young, so I didn't think anything about it. After that, about 2 weeks later, I actually got really, really, really sick. Like I couldn't walk. I had a really high fever, went to the hospital, and they told me it was probably the flu and just to let it go away.
I don't know how many times y'all have to actually see this type of stuff and then suffer from it and see people tell their stories as an example of what it is that they went through and how they've contracted it. And of course, it was because she was out here on the streets, because that's how she started to befriend the people that ultimately led her into this lifestyle in the first place. And we just need to really, really get back to traditional values. We are out here just winging it, trying to figure it out, trying to make sense of it. It's not making sense. You can't make sense of any of this type of stuff. And it doesn't serve us. It doesn't benefit you. It doesn't serve you. It's not going to put you in a great space. I know we super promiscuous, and one of the worst things that I've seen over the years is no shaming, sexual liberation, body affirmations. People can do whatever it is that they want to do. And really, that is the definition of being liberal. It's liberalism gone wild, sort of like those old videos with girls going wild. And there's plenty of women that's out here living with HIV and AIDS, and they regretting it. And that's one of the reasons why they're sitting here on these platforms, on social media, telling you the story, because I do believe that some of it is self-serving. I do believe that a lot of it is people telling the story because, they just want visibility. They want, whatever it is that comes with the fame. They want to make money and all of that type of stuff. And they're also looking for a community of people to affirm them. But I do think that there's some silver lining in some of these stories when they tell you, hey, listen, I was sleeping with this guy or I was sleeping with this girl, because I've seen guys talk about, not a lot. It's usually women that says it because women are always looking for a community and they're looking for affirmation. But usually it's always a girl that's saying, yo, I was sleeping with this guy and I was laying up with him and he didn't tell me or whatever. Y'all are too trusting. Y'all are too, I want to be in the in crowd. Y'all want to be down so bad. And that's going to lead you to your demise. And I don't know how many times and how many examples y'all got to see, but it is leading you to your demise.
But you know what I'm saying? Definitely that's the truth. I definitely agree with Anton on this situation there, man, that we are living in a day and age to where, we are over sexualized. It's crazy out here. The things that we can achieve, definitely through definitely sexually, online, phones, all types of crazy stuff that we get into. Now this is a crazy situation, but it does happen, things like that, when people decide to, engage in, sexual activity. Sex is dangerous. And we've been so watered down mentally in society till we think that sex is not as dangerous as it really is. Sex is a real dangerous situation. Not only can you have ties with each other, basically the statistics do say that, when women do have children with men, the the essence, I guess I put it that way, of the man that they've had children with stays in them for at least 10 years to a degree. And a lot of women, they have so many children by so many different men, and then we wonder why these women have so many different emotions and stuff like that, on top of women just being emotional beings in the first place. But back to this point, she said she went out there, she ran away at 16, 17, somewhere in there, and she got with, she went to the nearest big city for wherever that was, and she decided to, engage in, certain type of activity and stuff like that. And, it which the things that you get into, both men and women, the things that we get into and stuff like that, definitely living the street life and stuff like that, it will guide you a certain way. You have to be around a certain type of people to be in the streets, just like you have to be around certain type of people to live a godly life. It's never going to be the same. So, and both sets don't intertwine. So yeah, you're going to get into dangerous stuff when you're actually in the streets, be it, physical, mental, whatever. You're going to get into a lot of dangerous things. And sex is one of the huge issues in this new age and stuff like that, due to the fact that we have all these, diseases and stuff like that, new things that are coming up. And, it's a huge problem that people are not really understanding. And some don't want to, some know, but it's this lust factor that we have in society is overwhelming in this day and age.
If it doesn't get better. So that's what I did. I ended up leaving. I tried to walk home because in this big city, everything's close. So I tried to walk home. I could not walk. I had to end up calling a taxi to come get me because I couldn't walk. It was really bad. So I got back to the apartment. Everything seemed okay. I started getting better. I could walk again. I didn't have the high fever. But then my hair started falling out like bad, guys. Like, oh my word. Like I thought I was going bald. Didn't have any clue why. But I do remember I went to Bath and Body Works and asked them if they had anything that helps with hair loss. They didn't really have anything. And then I ended up actually going to get a perm, like back in the day when we used to get those curly perms. I got a curly perm, thinking it would help to make my hair thicker. It actually made it worse because it damaged my hair. But that stopped too. So my hair stopped falling out. It's, kept growing. It's never been the same. Like my hair used to be very, 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 very thick, and the texture was different. It was like more silky. It's never been like that again. After that, I went.
Yeah, that's because your immune system has changed. And a lot of people don't understand, like your immune system controls a lot of your body functions. You really don't understand your hair, skin, mental health. It's a lot of things your immune system controls, low key. Your immune system is what keeps your body functioning properly, collective with your other bodily things, that your lungs, liver, heart, all this, but your immune system is what keeps the danger at bay from those other systems functioning. in your body. Your body is a machine, technically, you know, and you have to make sure that you're not, you know, digesting or engaging in activities that your body's going to eventually reject things or stuff like that, or either have no choice to accept things because the disease or something like that may overpower it. It's just like, you know, cancer and stuff like that. You know, it's a very overpowering situation if it's not treated properly, you know. And I wish they would come up with a cure for cancer instead of doing all this lot of dumb shit, because, you know, I'm pretty sure with all the technology we got, we can't get a cure for cancer. Come on now.
Went on living, didn't think anything was wrong. I ended up getting pregnant, not from the same guy. This was a different guy. And soon after I got pregnant, I moved down here to Florida with my mom.
Nobody uses rubbers. Nobody uses protection. Nobody gets with people in and go get tested. Forget a my chart. Nobody goes and get tested. Nobody is getting married before they carry and then getting tested before they ever engage with a person. And y'all just spreading it around because she living with it and don't even know that she living with it. And now she pregnant and she getting pregnant by a different guy who obviously is going raw. And so now he probably got it.
Oh man. Ooh-wee. You know, sex in the 21st century is a whole new adventure. Sex in the 21st century is a whole new adventure. This is wild out here, people. Yeah, so she got pregnant by a whole different dude after the fact that she caught HIV.
It's crazy, bro.
And down here, I got sick and I ended up getting a really bad cough. Like it would not go away. It was bad. Like it lasted forever. It was a hard cough. It would not go away. So my mom took me to the doctors. They thought it was just a cough. So they sent me with cough medicine, sent me on my way. Again, I thought I was fine. Kept living life. I ended up moving back up north to be around my friends. And that's when I went to see the prenatal doctor. They asked me if they could do an HIV test. I told them yes. And then 2 weeks later, they called me and said that I needed to come back in for more testing. Of course, I'm young. I'm not thinking anything.
Yeah,
I go in,
you got it.
Two doctors take me in a room, and they tell me that I've tested positive for HIV. And they also go on to tell me, because this was when we didn't have the great medications that we do today, they also go on to tell me that I probably have 5 years to live max. So I am devastated. I go into shock. I don't cry, I just go into shock. I walk home from the clinic and I feel like everybody that is looking at me can tell that I have HIV. It's the weirdest feeling in the world. But after that, I heard that my friend ended up dying. He was in and out of the hospital a lot, and then he ended up eventually passing away from AIDS, of course. After that, I had my first son, and then all of my children are negative because I've been undetectable for many, many, many years.
So she's went on to have more children. I'm wondering if she told these men that she's HIV positive. Undetected? Oh, man. Jesus, man. Oh, man. I can't grasp this. When you're sleeping with somebody, is it not against the law to tell people that you have this type of disease that's capable of deleting people? And I get it that, you know, nurses and doctors and stuff like that, you know, professional healthcare people can't divulge people's, you know, medical issues due to the Hippocratic Oath. I get that part. But I thought in normal society, when you decide to engage in sexual activity with someone, especially unprotected, because obviously she said she had more children than that first one. So she, of course, you can't get pregnant with protection on, unless the condom slips or bursts or whatever. You get the point. Jesus, man. Did she tell these dudes that she has HIV?
I kind of found out, I was positive around the same year that the good HIV meds came out. Like the first medication that I was put on was AZT, which was one of the very first HIV medications back then. But soon after, I was able to get on art therapy, which is the cocktail of the good medicines. So yeah, I've just been living my life since then. I mean, I could go on and on about what's happened since then. I've never been sick again. HIV related. I did have COVID, but
Why? Let me ask y'all a question. And I know that she says that none of her kids have it because she's undetectable or she's been taking the medicine or whatever. But why would you even take the chance to bring a child into this world knowing that you have HIV? And I know that people is out here taking their medicines and they're going to have to take the medicines for the rest of their life and all of that stuff. But honestly, I'm just like, I'm floored at the idea that people are just winging it and they not tripping about it and they just living with it and they continue to have children and they still having children with multiple different people. And I'm assuming that they're in relationships now and maybe or maybe not you telling the person that you with that you got HIV and then you substitute the whole conversation by saying that, but I'm undetectable or some stuff. And how are y'all getting spouses and relationships and people to bust y'all down even when y'all got HIV? Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments.
And Todd on fire at the end. Man, I'm wondering the same thing too. Like I just said, I wonder if she told these people beforehand that she had HIV. Like, it works the same thing for dudes out here that's got that. Are y'all telling are these dudes telling these women that they positive like that? And I mean, from her story, obviously, you know what I'm saying, that dude didn't tell her shit till maybe after the fact, and she learned the hard way, which is crazy right here. And I think it's a lot of people out there that are learning the hard way about the people that they've slept with that has this and things like that, or any type of disease, chlamydia, syphilis, whatever. Man, this is wild right here, man. Y'all got to start protecting yourselves out there, ladies and gentlemen. It's sad, bro. But at the same time, though, too, she also went on to have more children with other men and things like that. I mean, she didn't give a specific number. It could be just one more dude that she had children with. Who knows? We don't know because she didn't give a number. But the thing of this is, man, is that the fact, like, are these people telling other people that they are choosing to sleep with and stuff like that they have this type of major disease? This is not like catching a fucking cold here or even the flu. It's very serious. And it's something that's going to stick with you for life. You could at least get rid of the flu or get rid of the cold, technically. I get the flu sometimes. For some people, the flu can take you up out of here for some people, excuse me. But, because the flu can be very dangerous. But nowadays, man, with all the meds and stuff like that, I don't think the flu is just really taking people up out of here like that, like how it, used to. But listen, look, man. This is wild, bro. This is wild, man. Y'all fellas need to watch yourselves out there. You ladies definitely need to watch yourselves out there, man. I don't know. I agree with Anton, man. I don't know how many times people have to hear these stories that are online of these people, basically warning us about, snakes in the grass out here. Obviously, these people are not communicating that they have these diseases and that they're just out here winging it and doing types, and just don't give a fuck. I've heard stories throughout the years of people that actually have this type of disease and also actual full-blown AIDS that just been sleeping around and don't give a fuck. And you know what I'm saying? And technically, low key, I think that is like attempted murder. That's a charge for that. If you run around here with that type of disease and stuff like that and just deliberately giving it to people and not telling folks that you are complicated like that. Man, this is wild out here. You know, I pray that everybody be safe, bro. Ladies and gentlemen, man, y'all gotta get on the good foot here, man. You know what I'm saying? And try to stop being so lustful, you know. And man, this is crazy. But it is what it is, though. Shout out to all my subscribers. Mad love to y'all. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell to be notified whenever I decide to post things. And like I always say,
and that, my friends, is the bottom line.
That, my friends, is the bottom line.